Hello everyone, welcome to Awesome Vacuums. Well, in today's video, this is going to be kind of a controversial review. It's going to be a review on my Shark Rotator powered lift-away NV752. So basically, why do I say that? Well, that's because I'm going to be going over the issues I have with sharks in general. Now, there are people out there that love sharks, there are people out there who hate sharks. So basically, this is going to be kind of what I think of these machines. So what I'll do is get the camera off the tripod, give you a quick overview, kind of go over what you're going to be getting for your money, and then I'll do some pickup tests at the end. So let's get started. Alright, so here is the Shark Rotator powered lift-away NV752 Bagless upright vacuum cleaner. So starting at the bottom here, as you can see, is the power head. So up front here we have 8 bright LED headlights, so that's good. They're actually pretty handy, believe it or not, so I do like that. And you have a clear window there for the brush roller. So moving on, up here is your HEPA filter, so that just pulls out like that. And here's your HEPA filter, which, as you can see, this one here definitely needs to be replaced. And here's my first issue with Shark is the filtration. A lot of fine dirt and passes through the filters and gets on here. So these do constantly need to be changed. I would recommend replacing this at least once a year, depending on your usage. So yeah, there's that filter that goes inside there, and then you just take the cover, there we are. So right up here is, as you can see, it says anti-allergen complete seal. So they market this machine for having a sealed system. Well, I mean, the problem with that is it's a bagless machine, so even if the machine is sealed, you break that seal as soon as you empty out the dirt, because all the dirt goes flying out, which I'll go over that in a little bit. So right here is your dirt bin. So as you can see, this bin is actually not a bad size. It is a pretty good sized bin, but it is not the nicest to empty, and I'll show you why. So to release it, there's these two little things up here, so basically you just kind of lift up and the bin comes out. So here's your bin, and it's kind of messy to empty because you have the button all the way at the bottom here, versus on Dyson's they have them at the top, so you just hold it into the trash can at an arm's length and then just empty it, and then you don't have to worry about as much dirt flying out. But with this, you put your hand right there to empty it. So basically, if I just do that, and then I'll try and press it while I'm holding the camera here. Hang on. I might set it down to show this, but to press it, you have to see how close your hand is, and then all the dirt flies out. As you can see, there's a little bit in there. So yeah, there's kind of one issue. And then you have the top, which also opens, so if any dirt gets stuck up here, you can empty that out. And a lot of hair and stuff gets wrapped around this mesh screen here. This is your only cyclone on this machine, so that is the biggest issue I have with this. Is it is not a multi-cyclonic system, it's just single, and the problem with that is it does not work very well. So basically, the way that the system works is all the dirt enters in the intake there, spins around this, and then it has to flop up and go down into the bin there, which sometimes it does. Most of the time it does it, but a lot of times stuff gets wrapped around here and you have to pull it out, and then sometimes it will get stopped up and all the dirt will end up on this filter. And this filter gets really dirty really quickly, so after at least every few uses, you'll have to wash that filter and let it dry. No ifs, ands, or buts. And now, unfortunately, I wish they would have stuck with the 21 cyclones like they did on the original Navigator, but unfortunately that didn't last very long before they went to this design, and even the latest models from Shark is still using this, so it's not a very good idea. I don't like this bin setup at all. So there's that. Then, I mean, you do have a nice carry handle at the top, so that's good. Now, speaking of that filter, this is it right here. So it pulls out like so, and you can see just how dirty this thing gets. This is just after a few uses, and this filter is pretty filthy. So basically it just pulls off of this little thing here. Just do that. And then you have to wash this, let it set to dry, and you can see stuff even gets in here too. So not very good. And then right here, as you can see, a lot of fine dust ends up around here. And it is very important that you keep these filters clean, because right down there is the motor. So as you can see, what's starting to happen with this one here is dirt's getting stuck in there. So over time, if you don't clean that out, it will end up in that motor eventually, and that will fry your motor. So yeah, that's why a lot of these tend to have bearings go out, because they're like the Bissels, the older Bissels that had the similar design, where if you didn't wash the filters, you would end up frying your bearings in your motor. So in 2024, there's no reason that Shark should be using this setup, because even Bissell went away from it and they switched to multi-cyclonic systems, and this machine costs a lot more than most Bissels, so to me that's just unacceptable. And you have this filter here that also needs to be washed. So basically you have two washable filters here, and you have this filter. So in total you have 3 filters on this machine that you have to keep clean for this thing to keep running. So yeah, not the best design. So there's that. So anyway, just put the bin back on. There we go. There. So moving on to the side here, you have the cord. So it's a 25-foot cord, so it's not the longest, but it's not the shortest. I would have preferred an extra 5 feet or so. But anyway, you have 2 cord hooks. You have the bottom one that's fixed, and you have the top one that's rotatable, so you can just twist it down, quick release, and then all the cord comes off at once. So here is your cord. And let's see here. As you can see here, if I just hold this up to the camera, if it will ever focus. This machine is from 2016, because Shark, for some reason, puts the date on the prong of the plug. So there's that. And anyway, and since the cord comes out here, it has a little cord hook at the top, so that I do like. So yeah. So you have a pretty comfortable handle to hold. So right up here you have the on and off button and the little selector here. So that's hard floor, which turns off the brush roll. This is carpet / low pile, so the brush roller is spinning, and you have full suction. And then the last one here is thick carpet area rug. So basically that lowers the suction, and it bleeds the suction through these little holes here, and it makes the brush roller spin a little faster. So this I do like. In fact, I wish Dyson had this on their ball animal too and whatever, because that is a common problem on those, is the brush roller on those is too aggressive and has too much suction, and they have no way to lower the suction, so that's why a lot of people complained on those that it was unusable on certain carpets. But with this, you won't have that issue, so that I do like. So anyway, undo that, and now in order to use the wand, you have to remove the cord from the clip. So not a huge deal, just something to note. So speaking of the hose, you can remove it by pressing this little button here that says handle. So that unlocks it, and then the little clip comes off there, and you can use the tools directly on the end of the hose. And now further down here, you actually have a little light at the end of the handle, so it illuminates the area you're trying to clean. So that's really handy. That is another little con I have with this machine, is the hose is a little too short, and basically what happens is if you pull it too hard, the whole machine will fall over. So yeah, they try to make up with that with the lift away, which I'll demonstrate later. But the real problem with that is it can get kind of tiring because this machine is pretty big and bulky. So yeah. So anyway, if you want to use the wand, you just press this button here, pulls out, and then you can now use the tools on the end of the wand, like so. And if I just take this off again, as you can see, there are these little connectors for the power head, even inside the hose there. Same here. And then here's this little cheap mechanism that holds the wand in place. So basically when you press this button, as you can see, it releases it right there. And so yeah, it's all plastic on this machine, so it can break over time. And in fact, at one point this machine was actually recalled because of these wands, because they were actually shocking people. So if you do happen to have one of these and it's shocking, having that issue, then contact Shark immediately. They'll send you a new wand. So there's that. So I'll demonstrate the powered lift away now. So to use it, you press this button, and the entire pod comes separate from the machine, and then you can use it now like this. As you can see, you can hold it with one hand, hold this with the other to get under furniture and stuff. So this feature I actually kind of like. I do think it is pretty handy. In fact, Bissell was actually the first to do this on their lift-off machines, except on those. They didn't have the power head attached. You left the nozzle behind. But with this, it has the power head on. And even the Cibo Felix also started doing this after, too. But again, you left the nozzle behind on that. So, yeah. And one other thing is this hose clip is really annoying. It never stays on. See? It's very easy to come off. So if I just shake it, as you can see, it's starting to come off there, which is really annoying, especially when you're actually using the machine normally. It will come off a lot and you have to put it back on. So anyway, here's the machine in operating mode. So I mean, it's not too bad, but this particular machine is very bulky. I do not like that at all. I would prefer one of their other, the speed models that are smaller and lighter, because this one is just too bulky. And this doesn't have a very nice swivel neck either, as you can see. It, if you twist it too much, it will actually raise the nozzle off the floor. So that I am not a fan of at all. So, and another thing that I've seen go bad on these is this joint here on the nozzle. Those tend to break off over time. And Shark's solution to that is to replace the whole nozzle as a whole assembly. So yeah, and especially the lower hose here, these have a habit of ripping constantly. In fact, I have somebody at work who's going to be bringing me their shark because of this issue. So if you do have a shark, keep an eye on these hoses because they will tear. And if you contact Shark, they're just going to tell you, oh, you have to get a whole new power head because you can't just replace this hose easily unless you happen to have an extra hose that's the right size and you know how to take it apart, but it's very hard to do on these, so not something I recommend. So yeah, but thankfully this one here has not had that issue. And I think on the newer ones, they actually kind of address that. So just keep an eye on it if you have one of these. So yeah, what else can I say? Oh, right here, you have the brush indicator, so this will come on green when the brush roller is spinning. But if you jam it, this light will turn red and the power head will shut off. So this has two motors. It has the main motor in here, the suction motor, and then it has the power head motor inside the nozzle. So it's a two-motored system. So there's that. And now you have two onboard tools on the machine. So you have a Dyson like crevice tool and dusting brush. So use it like this as a crevice tool, and then you press the little button on the side to push it up like that. And then you have a dusting brush at the end with nice soft bristles, so that is good. But I'm not too big a fan of these 2-in-1 tools. I feel like they're not the best for getting in tighter areas, like in here, for example, as you can see. I'd prefer to have an extra dusting brush for that reason, because it is kind of hard to get in tighter areas. So yeah, that is a little annoying. But the good news is if you happen to have a Miele dusting brush, you can actually use them on sharks. They actually fit on there perfectly. So that's something interesting to keep in mind. So that just stores on the side. And then on the back here you have the upholstery tool / dusting brush. So basically it has this little dusting brush with kind of stiffer bristles, so it's not as soft as that, but you can release it by pressing this button here, and then as you can see you can use the upholstery nozzle, and it has two lint pickers either side of the nozzle, and it does pivot, so that's good. So just put the camera down while I put this back together. So that lives on the top here. And one other tool you get with this machine, which I'll go grab, is a little air-driven turbo brush. So nothing too special, it's just a basic turbo brush. As you can see there, it says use hard floor settings, so that's obviously full power, which is what you want on these nozzles. So one other thing I'll show you is the brush roller, and then we'll start the demo. So just turn it around. Here's the brush roller. As you can see, it's a chevron style brush roller, so as you can see it channels the dirt into the main air path in the nozzle there. So it's obviously in the middle. So I mean, to be honest, despite this machine's flaws, it does have pretty decent carpet cleaning performance. It actually cleans very well. So that is one good thing about Shark, is when they're running, they actually clean well, but you have to maintain them in order to keep that performance. And then you can remove the sole plate here by taking a coin or large screwdriver and undo these little clips here, and then this whole thing comes off. Now there's 3 of them, but this one here is missing on this one, so yeah, but it doesn't seem to affect the performance. And then you do have 2 large wheels here. So not much else I can really show on here. So I guess we'll get started with the demo, except you do have 2 other wheels here. So yeah. Alright, so now for the pickup test. So I got some dirt and some rice down on the carpet here, so do the usual 1 pass forward, 1 pass back, and see what happens. Alright. So it looks like you got most of it. So alright, so I thought I'd show the LED light on top of the handle here. Alright, so I now have the machine in lift away mode, and I got the turbo tool on the end, so we're going to try it out now. So the turbo tool actually works pretty well on this machine. Alright, so now we will test the machine on hard floors. So I got some rice, salt, and some breakfast cereal on the floor here. So just recline the machine, and I'll switch it to hard floor, and I'll do 1 pass forward, 1 pass back. So, as you can see, it got most of it, but it did snowplow the Cheerios, so Obviously, this is an extreme example. Hopefully nobody's kitchen floor looks like this, but in day-to-day use, you should find the machine will do fine. But if I use the machine normally, try it now. So as you can see, the performance is decent on hard floors. It's not the best, but if you do have your heart dead set on a shark, then definitely go for a model with the dual clean system if you have hard floors. And as far as the few bits of Cheerios that didn't get picked up, I'll just use the wand, suck it up real quick. Well, that's the end of my review and demonstration on the Shark Powered Liftaway Rotator NV752. So, what do I think of this machine? Well, it has decent performance, but has its issues, and I can't really recommend it. With that being said, if you have your heart dead set on a shark, then I would recommend looking into the Navigator 0M, the basic model. It doesn't have the powered liftaway, but that's okay because it's really only good for getting under couches and stuff. It's not something you'll be using all the time. And as a result, I find the brush roller on it is too strong, and it kind of grabs onto the carpet and it yanks it across. It acts as a self-propelled vacuum, which sounds good. It really isn't, though, because it's very tiring on the arm. So that's why I'm not really a huge fan of that feature. And other machines I'd recommend looking at would be the Seabo Dart in a similar price range, as well as the anything in Dyson's lineup if you have to have a bagless. So that's all I got for today. If you enjoyed, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Bye for now.